A few weeks ago, I posted the redesign of the Spotify privacy statement. This is the one. I received some questions to elaborate on the project, so that is what I will do in this video. In this video, I will explain what I did for this redesign, but also what I did not do for this redesign, but could be part of the legal design process. The Spotify privacy statement. I wanted to share with my network what legal design can do, and I thought best to share that with a consumer-facing document like the terms and conditions or a privacy statement. And I actually chose the Spotify privacy statement as random. So people know privacy statements you see quite often but rarely read, and they are quite hard to read. People are genuinely interested in their data and how their privacy is protected. First, I summarized the original text. I went through the full privacy policy and simplified the language while keeping the essentials. Secondly, I prioritized key user aspects based on real interviews. In earlier projects, I conducted interviews to understand how users feel about privacy policies. Based on that, I focused on what users care about most, like what data is collected, why it's used, and who it's shared with. The third part, I created a clear visual layout. By using columns and icons, I made it easy to scan so users can get the info they need quickly. The fourth part is I applied Spotify's brand guidelines. I used Spotify's brand style to make sure it feels consistent and familiar to their users. So when you look at it, you actually already notice it's familiar if you're familiar with using Spotify, because I used their logo and their brand colors, and I try to use a font that is similar to the font Spotify uses. It isn't the exact font because I couldn't find what it was, and they did not communicate it. These are the things I did do, and there are also quite some things that I would include in a full legal design project, but I did not do for this project. Why? Well, because this is just an example of what legal design can do. I had to balance, of course, the time I put into it and other stuff that I'm doing. Without further ado, here are a few points that I did not include but could be included. So the first is user research and client feedback. In a regular project, I would first conduct interviews with users and readers of the privacy statement. And I will try to find their pain points, ask their questions about what are you looking for in this document? Is it hard to find? Is it easy to find? How are you feeling about this document? I also will collaborate with the client on that part to ensure the design aligns with their goals and needs. The second part I did not do is the testing and iteration phase. Normally, when I come up with a design, I will go back to the client and we would conduct a few rounds of testing. So through testing and writing down the feedback we gather from the interviews or the testing, we improve the prototype for, in this case, the privacy statement. And the third part I also did not do is post-launch testing and measuring the impact of the document. Because, of course, this was just like a mock, a redesign. Spotify is not my real client, but surely call me. After launch, we would continue testing to measure the impact of the redesign and identify any further improvements. This step is essential for tracking down how well the new design meets user needs over time. This redesign was just an example of what's possible with legal design. And that's why I didn't dive into deeper elements like user interviews, testing, and multiple prototypes. They take time and resources. But even with a simplified approach, you can see how much clearer and more accessible a complex document like a privacy policy can become. If you found this interesting or have questions about legal design, drop a comment below. And if you'd like to see more transformations like this, hit like and follow me for more insights.